How did future Trunks kill Android 17 and 18 inside the unseen timeline?
I am a Saiyan that was raised on planet Earth. I will not let you destroy my world!
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Dragon Ball Z Discussion, where we do weekly discussion about Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT. Today's discussion is, how did future Trunks kill the android inside the unseen timeline? Now when I say unseen timeline, I'm talking about a timeline which they didn't give more information about. There's three timelines inside Dragon Ball Z. One is the future, the other one is the present, and the third one is the unseen timeline where Trunks died and Cell took his machine to come to the present timeline. So my question here is, how did Trunks manage to kill the android? So inside the discussion, I'm going to tell you my theory, and at the end of the discussion, I want you guys to share with me what do you think happened. How do you think Trunks killed the android? So everybody, let's get right to the discussion. How did Trunks kill the android inside the unseen timeline? Alright, so before we get to the discussion, let's talk about this unseen timeline. According to Cell, he said that he came from another timeline, completely different from the future or from the present, so he could come here to absorb the android, because he told Piccolo that Trunks somehow killed Android 17 and 18. They were nowhere to be found, they were dead, and because of that, he had to kill Trunks just so then he could go inside the time machine and come right back to the present time machine to absorb the android. Now, one thing we know for sure is that Trunks didn't go through any hyperbolic time chamber or any other secret training to beat these androids, because if that was the case, Trunks would have been strong enough to handle Cell. But according to the manga and the anime, Cell killed Trunks very easily, and he went and took his machine and came to the present timeline. So one thing we know for sure is that Trunks didn't kill the android with brute strength or with new power. So how did he kill the androids? My theory on how I think Trunks killed the unseen timeline android is that after when Trunks came back from meeting Goku, gave him the antidote, he decided to go around look for Dr. Gero's lab where the androids came from, because he wanted to find out if there's any weaknesses he could find from the lab. And I'm pretty sure Bulma probably told him the idea that let's go to the lab and find out if you could find any weaknesses about the android. So when Trunks went to the lab, he couldn't find nothing, but then when he looked carefully, I believe that Trunks found the blueprints for the android to make the remote control. And with that blueprint, he went to Bulma, and then she went, checked out the blueprint, and she made a device, a remote control device, which she said that if you use it, it'll make the android paralyzed, and then you could blast them, they'll be dead. So with that remote, I believe that Trunks went and used the remote to stop the androids, but I believe he found his blueprints below the lab, just like where the original blueprints were, because by the time he went there, I'm pretty sure Cell already got out of his chamber and he started walking around trying to marvel to his real form. And until then, that's when Trunks found the blueprint. He went to Bulma, she went and investigated on the blueprint, and she remade a remote control device. And then by the time when Trunks used the device to kill the androids, that's when Cell became to his original form, and that's when he starts looking around for the androids. And when he found out he couldn't find the androids, he had no choice but to go to Trunks and kill him and steal his time machine. So that's how I believe that Trunks killed the android, with a blueprint remote control device to stop the android like they made inside the present timeline, but Krillin ended up destroying this blueprint. That's my theory. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think? How do you think Trunks killed the androids, and what do you think could have happened? My theory is that they used a remote control device, because that's the only theory that could work out. I doubt he went to any training. This makes the most sense. He used a remote control device to stop them, and I believe that he was planning to come back to the present timeline to show his present mother, Bulma, this blueprint to make it so she could stop the android too, but he couldn't do it because Cell killed him. That is all for today, people. Let me know your thoughts. If there's anything like this video about the discussion today, please drop me a like. That'll be amazing, people. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I'll reach you guys. I'm GokuT23. Have an insane day, people.